What's happening, party people? Welcome to my weekend review. Man, I don't know if I missed 1 week or 2 weeks of this. Last week, I was on my fishing trip that I missed last year. Made it this year. Pretty good trip. Caught some nice fish. Actually took mom and Mita with me. Man, the host up there, just incredible folks. Welcomed us with open arms. Unfortunately, went for a joyride in the host race car. His demon blew the engine. I'm hoping it was just a supercharger, but they claim it broke the crank. We was moving, having some fun, like guys do. My goodness, but man, Dan the man caught like a 32-inch pike. I caught a 19 and a half inch smallmouth. Just good fishing up there, and had a good time doing that. Before I go any further, I want to thank Eli for becoming a member again of my Patreon site. I don't know what's going on with that. That thing is falling off fast. This past month was the lowest Patreon contribution to my financial situation that I've had, man, probably 4 years. And I don't know if it's just that uh, Patreon kicks people out if they don't renew. It has renewal, I think, every year. And if you don't click yes, renew, they quit tapping you. Not like some of these subscriptions, they keep tapping you until you close that account. And I think that's a good thing that people are reminded that they're giving contributions to people like myself. So I'm not mad about it. I'm glad that people like Eli is re-upping. He gets some, I guess, value in what I post. He's hopefully saved thousands of dollars on his Volvo repairs. And other people, man. People contact me, text message, emails, watch the videos, call me, and a lot of those folks do send donations. I call them because I don't like require a payment for people contacting me or emailing me for my help. And some people they just send money through my Cash App, my PayPal, Zelle, stuff like that, and I do really do appreciate that. So hey, thanks you for all of my financial supporters and all of my Patreon folks. I got a couple new members on YouTube, and I activated not long ago a way that you can just click and send a couple of bucks. And somebody did that recently. They watched the video, saved them some money. They sent me $2, and all that stuff adds up. So I appreciate it. Heck, I get about 250,000 views a month. If just half of those folks sent me $2 for money they saved in their repairs from watching the video, man, I would be able to travel the country or probably the world without even asking for payment. I'd be able to work, not have to worry about money, get parts, gather parts, get out there and do it. But besides that, there's a couple things on my website that are for sale, kind of rare items. I'm about to drop the price on the cargo mats that fit in the 850 sedans and the S70 sedans. I got about five of those things. I didn't realize that, but it's a rubber mat that you put in the trunk of the car. It protects the carpeted type stuff in there from getting dirty if you put something in there greasy, oily, stuff like that, hauling dirt or rocks or something around for your garden. That those are nice things. And Mita insists on those things because she is a cleanliness uh, I hate to use the word freak, but man, she likes that stuff clean and the car is clean. So she believes in those things. I also have one of those cargo area shades left. I had two that I was willing to let go of, a tan one and a charcoal one. The charcoal one is still available. You put those in the back of your wagon, pull that shade over so people can't see what you have in the cargo area of those cars. Now, I've been going to junkyards for 10, 15 years, and I think I've only found one or two of those things in junkyards. They are so rare. A lot of cars, I see the evidence that one was installed, but I don't actually see the cargo cover thing because most of them break. People start getting frustrated with them not retracting. They take them out, they get rid of the car. Sometime later, they realize they still had that thing, probably chunking in the trash. Sad situation. I wish every wagon had one of those. They retract up to the back of the seat. You just cover your stuff up. Anyway, I got one more of those for sale. Those things were built broke. Built broke, like my t-shirt says. I could put one of those on here. And there's a guy, I forget what country's in. I thought he's in Australia. He may be in Europe somewhere. But he made a little bracket type thing that fixes those things in no time. I fixed one or two. I had to make my own design and parts and plastic to fix it. It took me a couple hours. I got on eBay, ordered his kit on eBay. I'll link it in the description below. So if you got one of those shades, I fixed my shade in like 30 minutes. And it was because I didn't really know what I was doing, fumbling around. But all of those shades, the end piece that locks in those reels, it breaks in there. But you should get that plastic, broken plastic out of there, then put these on. If I had known what I was doing, I could have done it in 10 minutes and had this thing ready. But I sold one to a guy that was looking for one on Matthew's site. I got one left on my website. I'll put the link in the description, and you're welcome to it. And I got original Volvo mass airflow sensors used that I've tested that work, and several other things. So if you're looking for something, you can't find it, send me a message. Somebody just got a sun visor from me, a gray one for a SRV 70, and he said Volvo told him those things are $200 now. I didn't know they could still get them. But, I got a lot of stuff in my storage that's not on my website. It takes time to put stuff on my website. I got transmissions. People are buying those. I got one engine left. That engine is for a P3 S60. And, hey, if you go over there, get some time, browse a little bit, you may see something you need. If you don't see something you need, send me a message. If I got it, I'll get it to you however you want, whatever feel comfortable with you. I actually sold my 16 valve red block cylinder head to some guy in Argentina, I think. Well, no, he was in, he might have been in Argentina. Wanted that head to soup up, I think, a Ford. So that's gone. He told me to keep the valves, so I got the valves out of it and kept them. But anyway, there's stuff on my website. So hope you enjoyed today's videos. Me doing work kind of daily, and man, it's just been so hot. It still hadn't cooled off as much as I'd like here in Cincinnati, but got to keep working, and we all do. We got livings to make. So appreciate your time. Have a great day. Be blessed. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Well, folks, it is almost 100 degrees out here on the heat index. But life has no mercy, so I got to get with it. This wagon over here has not started yet, and I got to pull the crank sensor out to try to replace that to see if that's my problem. I have a no start error code that the engine speed signal is absent, and I tried to pull the crank sensor and it broke off on me. So I'm going to try to pull a bracket and the sensor. There's a broke sensor there. And the only way to get to that is to pull all this coolant stuff out of the way and trim a little notch off of the top of the transmission, and then get that bolt out that's holding that bracket in. I do have a bracket in the sensor around here somewhere. I gotta find that, but in the meantime, let me go ahead, drain the coolant, pull this stuff out of the way, and see if I could reach that. Okay, 20 minutes later, after I dumped my toolbox and had to rearrange that, I'm ready to get started. First thing I'm gonna do is drain this coolant. In this video, I'm going to be replacing the crank sensor. If it's stuck, has broken off, or something like that. And first thing you need to do is gather your tools. Next thing you need to do is remove the air box from the car. Unplug the mass airflow sensor, disconnect the BCS from the side of the air box or TCV, unhook the ignition coil wire from it, unhook the pipe from the mass airflow side of it, jerk it up on the passenger side, pull it out of the driver's side, set it out of the way. Next, we're going to drain the coolant because we have to remove the coolant hose from the engine, maybe even a heater hose from the engine to access that crank sensor bracket bolt, because we got to pull the sensor out with the bracket since the sensor won't come out of the bracket. So I'm almost 2 hours into it. That's how much of this thing I cut away. I think my socket will slide in there now with a pivot. Take that bracket loose and bring that out. I doubt any of that stuff will come out with a magnet. I think that's aluminum. So let me go ahead and pull this bolt out, and I'll let you know if I gotta cut any more of this transmission away. I got the bolt out. Now the bracket is still stuck in there with the sensor, so I'm gonna start working on it with a pry bar. I got it out, but it don't look too good. I can see the tip of that crank sensor in there still. Take it. Tip of the crank sensor there, and something else is going on there, that little white piece there. So let me try to lift the tip of that crank sensor off of there. That fell off, and pound this through here and get the new one installed. Tapped it a few times, didn't come through. Don't even look like it budged. So I'm gonna heat it up and see if it'll drop out that way. Here we go. In less than a minute, it's out. Let me clean up that hole and set the new one in there. Put the bracket in place and move forward. That's the one I melted out of there. I cleaned up the hole with a grinding wheel, since that was handy. Knocked a lot of dirt off of it. It even had dirt caked up in the bottom of it, well, a part that goes against the engine. So let me look at the engine, clean that up, put this back in place, put these 2 screws in it, drop that crank sensor in there, and go from there. It didn't really want to drop in there, so I ground a little bit of this angle down on it there to see if it drops in there easier. I grounded some of that off. Let's see if it goes in easier. You got to get that tip in the side of the cylinder head or the block, whichever it drops into. Some gentle taps got it in. Let me run the 2 screws in. I put the coolant hose on there. I made a little plug to try to lose minimal amount of coolant out of there. I don't know, I might have lost 10 ounces or so. Then I put the sensor in there. Now the sensor's secure. Now I'm going to hook up this lower hose, tighten that up. Then I'm going to plug in the 2 sensors, put in my box, and see what we're going to do. See if it's going to start. All right, I think everything is hooked back up. The battery's still connected. I never disconnected it. I got the mass airflow sensor hooked up. I got the coolant lines hooked up. I got coolant in there. Nothing is disconnected that I can see other than this alternator power line, and it is not touching anything. I should be able to crank this engine, start this car, and not have any issues with that, because it was smoking last time. So let me grab these tools that may fall and go crank this thing, see if we can get it to start. Something's going on with my door locks. When I hit my door lock, all the doors don't unlock, and they should. I got my scanner here. Let's see if this got enough battery juice to fire up. Still not firing up. Oil pressure again. All right, let me scan it after I try to start it this time. I think it's getting gas. Let's scan it. No codes in the engine system. Let's check the electrical. This is where I had a no speed signal. No codes there. Oh, yeah. Let's try immobilizer. See if anything's there. And something locked, not connected. I don't know what that means. It's cranking, so shouldn't have any immobilizer issue. But I don't think the alarm is going off. I don't know if this security system is even set. Alright, let me try to crank it again. Gosh dang. I don't know what's wrong. I had some TCM code, so I'm gonna run the PMP switch through 20 times. Let me show you these codes I had. On the transmission side, I got this one. I think that's throttle position sensor. And on the ECU side, I got a new code. Ah, crap. 43. Link failure, TCM. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on there and try to start it again. The no start continues. I'm gonna go research those two codes. I unplugged the throttle position sensor, plugged that back in. I pulled out the transmission control module, plugged that back in. No change, still no start. So let's put the battery on the charger and do some research on those couple of codes and see if I come up with anything. I'm out. All right, folks, it is time to get cracking on this 1995 yellow Volvo 850 T5R. Someone has put a deposit on it, so technically it is sold, and it is time to get to work on it. Some restoration work. We're going to convert it to a manual and get this thing rocking and rolling. First thing we're going to do is take the manual transmission that's going in it and put a Quaife in it. Let's get to it. Well, folks, it is summertime. Red smack in the middle of summer. Right now, the heat index outside is 87 degrees, and the older I get, the less I like the heat. So we're going to do this in my basement. It's the coolest place I can find at the moment. This is a Volvo M56 transmission taken out of a P80 car. It has an internal slave, so it's a newer one, likely out of a 70 series car, and I've run it through the manual checks. It's checking out good. I'm gonna go ahead and split it open and install a Quaife. These transmissions came with open differentials, and adding a Quaife to it just make it that much more fun, that much more controllable. So let's get started. I got a video on my Patreon site that's a pay to view video. For those that are members, they can see it for free. You can see every step involved in cracking this transmission open, taking out the diff, putting in the limited slip differential, and closing it back up. Well, this is a fail. I just took apart my own transmission that already has a Quaife in it. I knew that when I opened it up and seen these things here. So this transmission has a Quaife. That's why it has that hole going all the way through it right there. So I need to put this thing back together and close it up. I could look at these forks. You see that fork there? It is brass, doesn't have plastic on it. That one is too. This one is too. And I took this one apart by mistake. So let me go get another transmission. A couple things I want to check on another transmission. One, that there's nothing hooked up there, because this doesn't have nothing there. Two, that this stuff here is connected properly. Looks a little strange. But let me go ahead and put this thing back together. I'm not going to seal it. Well, I better seal it so I don't forget. So let me clean this up and seal this, get this thing back together, and go get another transmission. Waste of time. Climate control unit works great. Checking it for codes, and then I'm gonna clear the codes if it has any in there. So let's see what's going on here. Nine codes, good Lord. All right, let's clear these codes. Probably from the last vehicle it was in. I don't want to send out a unit with codes in it. I guess I should drive it, operate it, and then check the codes again, but it's working fine in the car. So I don't try to calibrate them, because sometimes that locks them up if there's any glitches in the car. But hey, they've been erased. Let's go ahead and plug the other one in and try it. Check in the second ECC unit I have to test for today. See if it's got any codes in it before we test it. One code, in-car temp sensor. So I'm gonna back out and erase that code and then test the unit. All right, let's go do it. Yard guy is on his way to do the yard. These are the entries for the drawing from the live 2 days ago. I'm putting them in there, and I'll have him draw one. See who's winning. Oh, drop one. Let me get these in here. Sounds like the yard guy's here, so that put a damper on my painting. I'm gonna wait about an hour for this dust to settle down for painting, but heck, I could clean this transmission up a little bit, even though it doesn't look that bad. So let me do that, mainly brush it off so it's not so dusty, and get this thing torn apart so we can put the Quaife in it. That's Mike. We're going to get him to do the drawing for us.
Is it properly?
Can you do me a favor? I got a drawing going on my YouTube site. Reach your hand in there and pull out one of those little tabs in there.
Do what with it?
Pull out a little drawing. There's a little pieces of paper in there.
Pull the drawing?
Yeah.
What are we doing with it?
People watch my YouTube channel, giving them a prize. You got one? All right, cool, thanks.
What are you going to do? Open it?
Yeah, open it up, see who it is. Yeah, I had a live on my YouTube channel the other night. So I told
YouTube thing, man, and YouTube's stingy nowadays.
Oh man,
with the views, with the everything, they're stingy.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You're old enough, so you probably remember back in the day. I wasn't focused back in the day like I am now. I wish I was, because I'd probably be way ahead. But YouTube back in the day, it was so easy to get monetized. They didn't have any rules to get monetized back in the day. And it's just like
grass is cut. The shavings are blown somewhat. Mike did the drawing, and it's time to get this transmission rinsed off so I can get the other one out here and paint it while the sun's down. Got the driveway rinsed down, the transmission rinsed off, the transmission dried. We're gonna move this one inside the garage, take it apart, put a Quaife in it. Then we're gonna move that other half transmission case out here and paint it. Let's get cracking. Lunchtime and break time is over. It's time to get back with it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit this piece with some black paint while I'm painting. And this is dry to the touch. It could be handled. So that thing looks brand new. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other half of it, but one half is looking good. Let me go grab some black paint. I think there's some there, but it probably ain't no good. Let's check it out. I got the shift lever. I sometimes call it the puck painted. I'm gonna let that sit till it's dry to touch. Probably about an hour. Come take this plastic off of it, get this inside where it won't get damaged, and this paint can cure a little better. This paint is soft. It comes off of that transmission pretty easy. I did clean it, brush it, stuff like that, but it's still soft, so I don't know how good it'll look once it's installed, but it looks good right now. Let me get inside, take this other transmission apart, get that Quaife in it. Time to get down to business. We're going to take this thing apart, get this Quaife installed. This thing here, this bracket, goes like that. It's on the third bolt from what I call the puck there. So let's get these 12s out of here. So I'm in this transmission, and I thought this other transmission was missing something, and it's missing this big rubber piece right there. So I got to make sure I get one of those. It goes on there some kind of way. Heck, I don't know what kind of way it goes on there, because it is totally gone over there. Is it rubber? Yes, it's rubber. Okay, you can put it on there. Alright, let me look at it, see if I see anything else missing. I got the diff out. There it is. Getting ready to open up this Quaife box. I don't think this is a mystery what's in this box. And I got the bearings for it. Let's get cracking. That is the part number we got. Let us check the website, see what they recommend. Whoop, whoop. And it's confirmed on the website. We are in business. Now my guy bought this from a guy. So here it is. I don't know if it's ever been unpacked or not, but we'll take a close look at it, make sure it don't look like it has any visible damage. Sometimes people buy these, they don't get around to installing them, and something happens and they don't have a car no more, and they got a Quaife. So my policy for new part purchases is kind of bad, so I wouldn't buy it. All right, this thing has been open at some point or something. The plastic's torn open, but let's get it out of there, see if we see any damage on it. Same part number here, got a serial number on it, got a little shaky. Nothing's in the middle of it, you can see straight through it. The regular diffs are not like that, you can't see through them. There's a bar through there. So let's go ahead and get the bearings, put the bearings on here. Doesn't look like it's ever been installed before, so let's get with it. Gotta set the bearings on like they're set there. Okay, I got the bearings driven on both sides. They're all the way down. Use this piece here. If you need one, let me know. All the way down to the shoulder. And you use this because it taps on the inner part of the bearing. It doesn't hit the bearing, and it drives it on the shafty piece. And now that's in. So I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on those bearings. I really don't have to, because when I put this thing together and fill it up with oil, I'm gonna roll it around a few times and oil's gonna get in there. But I'm gonna do it anyway, just for measure. So let me flip this over, set it on there, get these bolts in, and torque them. All right, I'm gonna set this up, torque these to 75 foot-pounds. Use an impact socket on there. Crank that thing around to 75 on the money. Now you gotta hold this thing to stop it from turning. And the only way to do that is with a crowbar like this, but you don't want to be putting leverage against your bearing. So I'm gonna set this thing down here. It's not putting any leverage on my bearings, and I'm gonna torque them and mark them. I'm gonna hold it down with one hand, hold it with my legs, and go around until I hear it click. Man, 75 so high. There it is. One down, 9 to go. I think that's 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, it's 12. So I'm going to put a little mark on that one with my Sharpie and crisscross. I'm going to go to the other side. So I'm going to put this over here. Now I'm going to put the tip of this so it gets away from that thing there. And this is the one I'm going to do. So let me keep moving along here. Alright, here I go. Alright, 2 down. My marker at. Alright, I'm going to keep going around till I have all 12. You got the picture there. Got all of them torqued. You see the little blue dots on there. Now I'm going to clean this mating surface up. Clean the surface of that. And bolt this thing back together. What the heck is going on there? Like something was rubbing right there. That's weird. I gotta figure out what that was. Alright, I'm going to clean around this surface with brake parts cleaner or acetone, something along that lines. Get that surface clean and dry. Go around it a couple of times if you have to. I got both surfaces as clean as I could get them. I went around those things like almost 10 times until I got no dirt on the cloth anymore. I started with acetone, finished up with brake parts cleaner. I dropped this magnet in here. Now before you put this thing together, you want to make sure you have all of your races in there. Every spot. I just dropped one out of that other transmission that I painted. That just reminded me. Make sure your races are in there. They're not going to fall out when you flip this thing over to secure it. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my gasket maker around it. I got some new gasket maker here. Ultra Black gasket maker 82180. And then I'm gonna flip this thing over there, set it on there, torque it down, and it'll be ready to go. All right, I got the gasket maker all the way around it, around the little loops and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this thing on here and bolt it down, torquing it to 29 Newton meters. See if we can get this little stand on here and out of the way enough so you guys can see it going on. Timber. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna try to get it locked on before it starts leaking in the transmission. So you see that hole goes in there. A couple of things will slide in. There it goes. Feels good. We get some bolts in here. Do. This goes like this. I had these bolts in order before I kicked them over. Same holes they came out of, but I don't know if that really matters. It has guide pins, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to tap it down on there, but it act like it fell all the way down, so I'm not worried about that. Looks like my fifth center. These are 12 millimeters, so let me get to running them down. Whatever I did with that setup I had. And you want to torque them crisscross. The gasket maker says that you should snug the bolts down, let it sit and set for an hour, and then torque the bolts. I'm going to go 2 past that one. You probably should start these by hand so you don't cross thread anything. When I start them in, I have no pressure on them. Just let the bolt turn itself to set. Oh, that torqued. Now I'm going to start torquing and marking. Need my adapter for my torque. What I do with that? Got another one here. No fear, I got another one here. So I'm gonna be crisscrossing here. I'm gonna start right here. Not very tight. It's been sealed. Alright, I'm just going to go around and hit the ones I missed. And that's it. Now you can go around one more time, make sure you got them all, and you'll be good to go. I'm going to start here. $17 of them. We got it. This thing is ready to rock and roll. Let me show you the squeeze out. So that's about what you see for the squeeze out. Little bit, not much, but there is some. Let that set for a few hours and you're good to go. Let me see what the curing time says on the container. So the instructions on the container says, put the bolts finger tight, make sure you got a little squeeze out. When you see it, let it sit for an hour. After it sits for an hour, then you torque it, then you let it sit 24 hours before you use it. So I didn't quite do that right. I hadn't had any problems doing it wrong so far, knock on my head, but I'm gonna let this sit for 24 hours before I put fluid in it. Let's keep rolling. We got another one to put together after we find this rubber band. Well, I haven't been so distracted before in my life. I'm still not done with the engine on this car so I could drop it in. And man, let me tell you something. It's never taken me so long to do a manual conversion in my life. And this back door looks unlocked. Oh, it's locked. Anyway, I'm gonna hit hard and heavy on this thing the next couple of days. Painter's not ready for the bumper. Still got to get that done. In the meantime, I was in Lemonade today, and when I went to close the back of the car, it didn't close right. So I opened it back up and checked, and the latch was loose. So I need to tighten this latch up right now before it breaks the metal in there. Let me go grab my key and do that. It's 8 in the evening and we still got a 91 degrees heat index. It's ridiculous. So what you got to do is take this back panel off. See this? That's a no-no. I might be able to pull that down and tighten that. Let me try that instead of taking the whole thing off, because this thing is pretty tight. I've redone it once. Hate to tear it in it again, but I gotta have this tight. So let me see if I could tighten it just by pulling this backside down. And then I gotta put a door on Lagoon. It does look like I'm gonna be able to get them, but look how loose those screws are. It's like all three of them are super loose. I don't know how that happens. I think it's a T45. I'm gonna tighten those up, clip this bottom back on, and I'll be good to go. Turned into a 10-minute repair. I don't see any metal cracked around it either, so that's good. Do. Okay, I tightened it a little more than it was. You can see that paint swab. It's now at 6 o'clock when it used to be at like 5:30. This one is about the same, and that one's a little tighter as well. So I tightened them up a little bit. The latch is nice and tight, so that should do it. Let me clip these clips back in these holes here. And I'm gonna go with my door repair. And it closed nice and easy again. Awesome. Now this one up here has a busted door. Somebody backed into it, put a big dent in it, and needs to be replaced. And I have one, so why have a busted door? They said they didn't think the window was going down now, but I think it does. But anyway, let me go ahead and replace this door. Now, the difficulty in replacing this door is I have a 95 door, and this is a 96 or 97. The 96 and 97 cars have different central locking. And because the central locking is different, that means I have to replace the latch in it. So I got to keep this latch with it. Let me go ahead, unlock it, get the door off, get it out of the street, and replace the latch on it. Of course, you could check out the door video, but what you want to do is take that T40 out there, loosen those E8s, unplug the door from this plug right inside that B pillar, and then lift the door up and off. Sounds easy, but sometimes they're a little stubborn being lifted off because they've never been removed before. Sad to see, there's a lot of rust in this door. I mean, not like the door, but rust along this, rust along the motor, you know, kind of rusty surface rust. So this is kind of a mess, but I got everything off that I need off of it. I got the wire harness pulled out of it. I got these screws loose. I should be able to lift this door off. I got that off too, so I should be able to lift this door off, carry it away, bring the other door over, and set it in place. Whew, man, I've been sweating. Got the harness through, got the door window motor hooked up. Got the plug run through there, hooked up to the latch. When I was positioning the latch, the bushings fell out and the rod fell out. Well, we all know where that ends up to now. So I put the new spacers in there. I got the latch in. I got the window guide, getting ready to secure that. Latch secure, handle works, locking mechanism works. Don't look like it's binding anything. It's a little stiffer than I'd like it to be, but you know, 850s are a little tougher. So I think I'm ready to put the door panel on. Plug this into the light, plug the speakers in, plug the window switch in, and I'll be good to go. Keep moving forward. It's getting dark. I'm about to shut it down. I got a big day tomorrow. Here we go, folks. We have a V70R here. I'm going to try to check this engine out best I can and pull it. There's a guy with an 850R that needs an engine, and this is probably his best candidate. Have no idea why this car is here, but let's go ahead and get started because it ain't getting no cooler out here. So I'm gonna pull the cover off of it, pull the spark plugs, and forgot my compression gauge. Somebody took the torque arm, which is kind of nice. That helps. I gotta get all this other stuff out of the way. And I don't have Danny. I don't know where Danny went to. I misplaced it. But let me go ahead and get what I need to out of the way so I can get this engine out of here. Timing looks good. Had original water pump on there. That's a no-no. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this serpentine belt. It's got cracks in it anyway. Then I'm gonna pull this cover the rest of the way off. And man, I forgot my compression test stuff, but I'm gonna turn it over and stuff something in here like a glove with a thing in there, see if it pops it out. So that's gonna be my compression test. My little junkyard compression test seems to be working. I took the spark plug out. I rolled up a napkin, paper towel, and a glove. I hooked up my jump box, and I'm gonna hit the starter solenoid again, and it should blow that out. All right, here we go. For the next one, I'm gonna hit that there, and that should blow that out. All right, look like I got compression in 2 cylinders. Let me do these other 3. Man, all of those spark plugs are foul, running super rich. I was looking for my magnet so I could run my magnet in the oil drain plug, but I don't see it, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna try to find something that's magnetic and run it up into that oil drain plug, see if there's metal shavings in there, but it seemed to be rolling over real smooth. It blew that glove out of every cylinder, so I'm gonna crank this thing for 30 seconds just to hear how it sounds, see if I hear anything that sounds strange. Well, I've been out here an hour and a half and I hadn't really started pulling this engine. I went under there to check the oil drain plug looked pretty good. Little fuel in the oil, however, man, I forgot this thing's all-wheel drive. It's got angle gear, drive shaft, all that stuff in there, so I better get busy. I'm thinking about taking this thing and pulling it out of the front of the car, but I don't know which way would be quicker, pulling that angle gear and drive shaft stuff out, or dropping this thing down on the ground and pulling the stuff off of it once I get it on the ground. So let me see how easy this stuff starts coming out. I do appreciate it's got newer tune-up stuff on it, even though those plugs are foul, but let me get with it. Let me get some water and get moving. Well, I'm almost ready to pull this engine out of here. However, I can't get the drive shaft bolts out. My long sockets are weak. They're not turning it. I don't think they're 45s. I think they're 40s. Can't crack them loose. I'm gonna try one more time. And if that don't work, I'm gonna go get my Sawzall and saw that dang shaft off. And then I'll lift the engine out, get it out here where I can work on it, and take the angle gear and transmission off out here. Probably be quicker. So that's where I'm at. Man, there's not a lot of room to get this thing out of here. where you pull it out with the transmission. But it'll come out. So let me try one more thing to get these screws out of this drive shaft, and if that don't work, I'm gonna go get the saws on, take a lunch break, because it is lunchtime. Looks like I have all my tools gathered for lunch and go get my last tool. I had to cut that bolt off or cut that whole axle. And then I'll be ready to come up. Take the 2 front bolts out the front mount, hook up a seatbelt strap, raise this thing up out of here. And I'll have to come forward some, so I hope I have enough room to do that without taking this exhaust out. I don't know. It should come out with the angle gear on there and the exhaust. I'll pitch it right. And if not, I'll knock the front of this car off. Take this front clip off. But we'll see. So I'll bring some 10mm and some 14mm ready when I come back. That should be all I need. All right, let's get out of here. Man, I just made it back here to the car from lunch. I need a lunch break. Golly. I brought this rolling cart to bring the engine back. I've purchased engines from junkyards before. What we've done in the past is pulled the engine out or had the engine ready to lift out. They've come with a forklift, they call it a loader. Lift the engine out, take it down there. I meet them at the cash register, pay for it. Sometimes they come get it 15 minutes, sometimes it may take them an hour, but they come get it. I asked this lady, hey, how are we gonna get this engine from the car down here to the cash register? She said, bring it down here. I'm like, what do you mean bring it down here? That lady talked to me like I was remedial. She told me they sell 250 engines a day. People pull them out, put them in wheelbarrows on these cars, do what they gotta do. Get them down here. If they need help, they gotta bring their help. I'm like, okay, interesting. But, you know, her tone of voice, man, she talked to me like this is my first time to a junkyard. And you guys know, been to a lot of junkyard. She said, well, is it a 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder, or an 8-cylinder? I said, it's neither. She said, well, it's got to be one or the other, one of the 3. I said, well, no, actually, it's a 5-cylinder. She looked at me like I didn't know what I was talking about. So, guess I was kind of talking to the wrong person. Anyway, my little break's over. I'm going to try to get this screw out of the back of this angle gear. Get these 2 bolts out of this mount right here. And try to get that loader from down there. I don't know if you guys see that. Like 5 cars away. Then I'm going to have to clear out all these tires to get it up in here. Let's see, we got 16... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars worth of tires I gotta move so I can get this thing up close enough to get this out of here. So let me get under here and try to get this bolt out before they close. Let me see what time they close. I think they close at 5:30, but let me check. It's almost 3 o'clock. Took me about 10 minutes, but I got it over here. And unstacking these wheels to get this thing close, look what I uncovered. 3 wheels that are like Propus wheels. They're 16-inch. I don't know what the offset is, but I'm gonna look around. If I find another one, I'll have a set of 4. I'll take 4 of these things. Those look like Propuses. So, ain't that interesting? So this thing has a weird way of rolling, but I could actually pivot these wheels to go back there now. So I'm gonna pull up those locks, twist these wheels, and push this engine hoist in here so that it's over the engine bay. That's interesting. I got everything disconnected except for the heater hoses back there. And it's coming up, but it's heavy. It's heavy. Probably need to pull it forward a little bit. Let me work on that. There she blows. Man, I need a break and I need some water. And I didn't bring any. Let me see what time it is. Maybe I'll have time to go get water. 98 angle gear. Let's see when the car was manufactured. Here's the VIN. 1197. So that's a 850 angle gear. Early 98. 96, 97, half a 98. Feels pretty tight. Probably good. Need a new seal there. I'm pulling it off, getting out of the way so I get this transmission off. Man, it's almost 4:30. I don't think I'm gonna get this thing down to the shack in a half hour, get it on that carton down there, and I'm burnt. So I'm going to put this thing on the cart, leave it here, come back when they open in the morning and pick it up. Just spent 5 minutes looking for the engine cover. Can't find it. So I'm gonna move forward. Maybe I'll find it before I leave. If you made it this far, I trust that you found some information that was either useful or entertaining. So go ahead and hit the like button. And if you would like notification of future videos that I post, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. You can follow me on other social media apps by looking for @RobertDIY. Some form of that should bring up the other channels that I have on places like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. If for some reason you need some more personal help, go to my website at robertdiy.com and use the phone number that I have posted there to send me a text message, or you can email me. If you have questions or comments, please make a comment below. And if you'd like to make some kind of financial contribution to what I got going on here, go to my channel and hit the more link at the end of the introduction statement, and it'll show you different ways that you can support me financially. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.